Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Wednesday. This is Game Day Live. Back to you. Since we taken our hiatus, Vinny, I got to hold on a sec here. I had to cut your audio just a little bit, so you're going to have to talk into your mic a little bit louder because I was hearing a lot of background. I know there's a big party at your house. It sounded like it.
Well, I don't mean for that to be the case, but I mean, I can't hear it because of my headphones are in, but yeah, I'll talk a little louder close to the mic. I am very excited to be back. I'm happy that the Devils are finally playing again. It has been a while since they were on the ice and ready to go, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, and I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Vinny Parisi. Sorry about that. I just got distracted with some background noise, but it's gone now. I adjusted it. And we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. This is Game Day Live. So Devils take on the Buffalo Sabres tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern start. Both teams 10-15 and 5 going into their 31st game of the season. Lots of news we'll get to a little bit later about the World Juniors being canceled. Also, rumors, speculations going all rampant over the internet. We'll dive into all that speculation about possibly the season moving back maybe a couple weeks back into the summer. That has been talked about as well. But let's focus on what's ahead of us right now. Jimmy Vesey right now in the COVID protocol. That's why we have taxi squads, right?
Yeah, I mean, the implementing of the taxi squads coming back is something that was needed, and it allows the Devils to, and every other NHL team to do what they need to do in order to keep guys from needing to go on waivers and whatnot, and having that bridge from the AHL to the NHL. And it's really going to help a lot of teams. I know it's going to go on and help the team. So we'll see what happens. But I think every team in the league at the NHL level is going to be happy about the taxi squads, and the AHL teams might not be as happy because some of the teams are going to be missing their better players for a little stretch of time here.
And you know what most people, Devils fans don't know, the ones that live in the United States, a lot of it has to do with the border. There's two countries involved. The NHL is tasked to balance two different countries' rules and regulations, plus provinces, plus states. Quebec has some rules. Ontario has some rules. And that's a tough balance for the league, especially when, given the last 2 years, the financial losses where the league has gate receipts, relies on these gate receipts for revenue. They don't have what the NFL has with TV revenue like that. They don't, or the NBA being a global brand, especially in Europe and in China, where they have the non-traditional revenue coming in than the NHL does. And right now, the NHL is really at the backs to the wall. They may have to consider a postponement of the season. We're not saying that that's going to happen, but there's a lot of speculation. Well, the math will eventually not add up because you want to play in a full capacity crowd up in Canada, because how much more can the Canadiens, the Senators, the Toronto Maple Leafs play without any capacity while having a 100% guaranteed payroll that they have to shell out year on year? I mean, this is not cheap at all.
Yeah, and I completely understand. The NHL has 7 Canadian teams, where every other league has 1 or 0. The Toronto Raptors could just play their home game somewhere else, and the Toronto Blue Jays have played their home game somewhere else. So the fact that the NHL has 7 makes it a lot more tricky. I know the Canadiens are going to play the Boston Bruins in Boston when they're supposed to be the home team. So they'll have last change, and the the face-off rules will favor them and all that. But it's definitely going to be an interesting situation. How much does that affect teams like the Maple Leafs, who are trying to push for the postseason, and the Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames? Those are the three best Canadian teams. And it's going to be interesting to see how they work through it because, like you said, it's just a mess between the two countries right now. And hopefully they're able to figure out a solution that allows everyone to play and not postpone the season.
Yeah. I didn't see the starting lineups yet. I've been looking at other things on the internet, but believe Mac Mackenzie Blackwood is starting tonight. I guess he's over his neck soreness injury before the pause. Also, let's see here. Just going through the lineup changes. Let's see. Recalled from the taxi squad, Jesper Boquist and Marian Stuninic. That's why we have it there. Vinny, do you have the starting lineups? Because I can't even seem to find it. I thought they announced it, but I can't find it on my phone.
Yeah, I got nothing on that. All I see is that you'll see more of Pavel Zacha and Marian Studenic on the penalty kill. That's from Amanda Stein, VC and COVID protocol. It doesn't seem like we have that at all. So, we never do, though. So I would assume that after all this time, Mackenzie Blackwood would be the guy in the net because he has missed so much time. That might be one positive out of the COVID pause, is the fact that they are able to get everybody healthy with their non-COVID related injuries. And hopefully he's able to look like the Blackwood that we know he can be, because when he's healthy and on his game, he's one of the best goalies in the NHL.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at some of the comments on the Facebook Live, Mike Rossi writes, does Fitzy want to root for his own team to win, or does he want his kid to get the big W tonight? His kid is playing, I believe his name is Casey Fitzgerald. He will be playing, I believe, tonight against the Devils. I know he was recalled, but I'm not sure if he's in the starting lineup or not. But that's a nice story that dad gets to see his son, although on the opposing team, play.
Yeah, I would assume that means he will be in the starting lineup. It'd be hard for me to see Buffalo scratching him in a game where his dad's team is on the other side. It's definitely an interesting conflict of interest, because I try to think of, like, if I was in Casey Fitzgerald's shoes, who would my dad root for if he was the GM of the opponent? It's hard for me to think he wouldn't root for me, but also I know the competitive spirit of everyone in my family and even just in pro hockey in general. So, maybe dad versus son. Dad wants to get the win. Son wants to get the win. I would understand if, my dad was rooting for his team. I would almost want him to. I'm a member of the Buffalo Sabres organization. You're a member of the New Jersey Devils organization. Let's have a good battle. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah, and maybe Mason Geertz and Casey Fitzgerald getting getting a fight and see what happens afterwards.
Yeah, if Tom Fitzgerald would be like, I acquired the guy right before the season that's going to fight my son. He gives him a concussion, too. He feels bad about it.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen anyway.
No, for sure not.
Yeah, Corbin. Yeah, if you're joining in, Corbin, he says World Juniors canceled. Yes, we know that. We know that. We'll get to that soon. But right now we're just talking about our Devils. Devils Buffalo. Just a little bit about World Juniors. Owen Power with that hat trick to start off World Juniors. Now we don't get to see anything. He's looking good. You know what stinks is we only got to see about 11 to 13 minutes of Luke Hughes. Yeah, he's like one of the youngest on the roster, but from what you saw, Vinny, because I know you're a World Juniors nut, did you like what you see out of Hughes? Just the limited time that we got to see him on the ice.
Yeah, going into the tournament, it was hard to see Luke Hughes making as much of an impact as he would if it was next year's
Yeah.
World Juniors because he's one of the younger players. He's probably one of the smaller players in terms of weight, but he's definitely one of the more shifty players that are on the back end of Team USA, which is nice to see. But yeah, it's hard to judge based on what we were given because the sample size was so small. And hopefully, we're able to see him play for Michigan the rest of the way when the college season resumes. Hopefully, it resumes with all the COVID going around. But I mean, I'm very excited about Luke Hughes. I don't think he's going to be as productive right off the bat as his brother Quinn was, just because that feels impossible. But you never know. Maybe he has an extra spark from being on Jack's team. Maybe Jack gets an extra spark from it. There's just so many positives to me that could come with the drafting of Luke Hughes. And the World Juniors didn't really tell me much, but there were times where you could just tell that he has a special career ahead of him if he keeps on this trajectory.
What did you think about Simon Edmondson, Team Sweden? He looked good. He looked
Yeah,
really good.
there's no
And
doubt about it. He's one of those guys who it's like he's going to be good. There are going to be a lot of guys who were passed on by the Devils or other teams that they're gonna show their stuff, and
well, the
a good
grass is
example to me
greener
is
on the other side. It's always been like that, especially with
yes, exactly.
Devils fans. Sometimes, I mean, we look at Pavel Zacha and how many other great, talented forwards and defensemen went by, after that 6 overall pick. But it's one of those things where look, focus on Luke Hughes, nobody else. And what I found was the kid can skate. The kid, he's very smooth out there.
Yep, very
Just
shifty.
a raw talent. You see the upside. It's just a matter of him physically developing. He's, excuse me, got the framework to put the muscle on, and that's going to take time. And the Devils are willing to be patient, is what we'd say. And like I said on the Woo Report today, let's just enjoy the process. Not trust the process, enjoy the process because I think he is going to be a stud once he gets up to the NHL level and has a few years under him.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. He's doing what Jack didn't do and what Quinn did do, and that's
Yeah.
go to Michigan, get your skating legs under you for a full year. Maybe it'll be two for Luke. There's a chance it's two for Luke at Michigan, and
Yeah.
get your man muscle a little bit more ready to go. The NHL is a different game than your junior team or the U.S. National Development Program, and your teammates and your opponents are bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, and that's what Luke Hughes needs to get ready for. And I think he's on a good pace right now. I'm not too worried about him at all. I'm more excited about what he might be able to bring to the back end if he does join a team that has a Damon Severson, Ty Smith, Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Graves. It could be a really nice group if Luke Hughes turns into something. So we'll see what happens
Yeah.
there.
Now, at a junior level, Shakir Muhammadulin looked very good. I wouldn't say he was excellent, but I can see now why Tom Fitzgerald took a risk at 20th overall in that draft class to pick him. We knew that he was going to be a project. At age 19, playing for Team Russia, what I saw was a poised defenseman within chaos. Chaos in front of him, empty net in front of him. He didn't seem phased at all. I'm thinking that could be his greatest asset as a defenseman, and it should be interesting to see him grow. There are times where he looked like a fabulous skater, and there are times where he kind of looked a little awkward. Not sure why, but there were just some plays, especially on an odd man rush, he looked a little awkward when he was trying to defend the odd man rush. Um, Number one, I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts? And do you see him being a beast with the New Jersey Devils, or is it going to take some time? And is he going to be at a Kevin Ball level?
Yeah, I certainly think he's going to take some time. I don't think he will be one of those defensemen that steps into the NHL at 21 years old and dominates like some other first round defensemen. But Fitzgerald believed in the kid. He saw something that nobody else saw. He had two first round picks ahead of him where he took Dawson Mercer and Alexander Holtz. So maybe the fact that there were three first round picks and no second round pick, he saw something in him that was like, I can't wait for this guy. He's not going to be here when we get to our third round pick, and I want him. So, regardless of what anybody says, I'm going to take him. Now, it's either going to prove to be one of the stupidest draft picks in team history, or it's going to prove to be one of those, hey, I can't believe he actually pulled that off type of draft picks. I think of someone like Braden Point, Henrik Zetterberg, Pavel Datsuk. I'm not saying Muhammad Ulin is even a fifth of those guys, but I'm saying if Ken Holland would have drafted Pavel Datsuk in the first round of that draft, he would have gotten sliced for it. Pavel
Yeah.
Datsuk, what are we drafting him for? We could have got him in the sixth. But if that draft were redone today, he'd probably go first, second, or third. So the draft, to quote my friend Steve Dangle, is like the scary tiger cave from Aladdin. You never know what you're going to get when you go in there. And it's just interesting to me that people get so upset over draft prospects that they've probably watched one time, but because they're 10 spots lower on like Bob McKenzie or Darren Drager's list, we like slice our GMs over it. There are obvious ones like Connor McDavid. Anybody who watched the World Juniors in 2014/15 knew that Connor McDavid was just significantly better than everybody else. It looked like Patrick Kane was out there playing with a bunch of World Junior players. Jack Eichel, same thing. Team USA was unreal. McAvoy was unbelievable. Heischer dominated all his peers, and even though Heischer needs to score more goals, his assist numbers are right where they need to be, and I think he creates good chances. So he's a good NHL player. We saw he was better than everybody else. You know, Austin Matthews scoring goals all over the place. It's just there are some guys who are obvious. Shane Wright this year, watching this Michkov play for Russia was really fun. That's one of the players I'm going to miss the most with it being canceled. But like you said, it's interesting, and there are so many different ways that the Muhammadulin pick could go.
Yeah. Now, Michkov, Team Russia, is he going to be in 2022 or 2023, or he hasn't decided yet?
2023. So it's going to be Bedard and Michkov, like the Nolan Patrick versus Nico Heischer debate, or there really wasn't much debate between McDavid or Eichel, but like I remember hearing Mick Eichel all over the place. Some people wanted the Devils to take Capo Caco instead of Jack Hughes. That would have been a disaster. But, you know, it's Michkov and Bedard for the 23 group. Shane Wright's going 1-1 in 22, and I think he's probably the best of the three.
Yeah. Well, just looking at the Facebook Live, seeing a lot of comments. Eric Burns doesn't like our defenseman. I can't repeat half of the things he's saying. What happened to Nico Dawes, Ron Bailey? Well, as far as I know, Utica Comets, their game was postponed. Again, COVID related. That's what we're seeing right now. Nico Dawes was hurt a few games ago, but that was a while ago. Don't have any updates. But again, you know, right now, as far as I know, I believe the goaltenders tonight is Mac Black and net, and Schmid backing him up, I believe, right? And while John Gillies is in protocol.
Yeah, I would assume that that's the case. That's what I would do if it were up to me. But yeah, I don't have anything based on who's in net, and it's going to come out seconds after we log off at 5:30.
Of,
So you know that's how it goes.
or 6:30 Eastern.
Yes. Sorry, 6:30 Eastern. Sorry.
You forgot that we're on the East Coast. I know you want the Devils to be on Central Time, but you know that's why
I
I
actually
always say,
don't. I would not change it if I could.
Oh, okay.
I like that the game starts at 6 my time because by
Okay.
8:30 they're done, and then I
Yeah.
can watch the California games or any other hockey that doesn't annoy me.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true, Vinny. And you know, I'm a true believer we should just have one time. Just split it in the middle, and then we're all on the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, I think out of all the time zones, this is going to sound so biased, but I've been on every side of the clock. I honestly think Central Time Zone is the best sports time zone because, like, when the Devils are in California on the California road trip, they start at 9, which, yeah, that's late, but it ain't 10. And
Yeah,
so the games aren't ending at 1, they're more ending at like 11:30 midnight. And then, like, football at noon, I like it better than football at 1 and or football at 10 if you're on the West Coast. So for me, I think Central Time Zone is probably my favorite. Eastern probably second place.
yeah, and I'm sure Campbell from New Zealand is listening in, and he's probably like, "You guys are
Yeah, he
idiots."
hates both of us. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
you
watches the
guys are a
Devils
bunch
at
of
like 4 in the
whiners.
morning. Yeah, we're a
Yeah,
bunch of
bunch of
babies. These guys get up. These guys set alarms to get up at like 3:30 a.m. and watch the Devils lose. So all power to you. You have my respect.
yeah. Oh, Corbin's barking at you. Comparing Nico with Kane and Matthews is laughable. There's no way he's in the same conversation. You have any response to that,
Uh,
Vinny?
Yeah, he is in the conversation in terms of players who were so good in the World Juniors that they elevated their draft stock. That's all I meant by that. I'm not stupid. Of course, Patrick Kane and Connor McDavid are worlds better than Nico Hischier. I know that. I'm talking, if you were listening to what I was saying, I would suggest that you do that. I'm just saying that Nico Hischier played so good in the World Juniors that he elevated his draft stock, as did the other first round picks that came before him.
Yeah. Michael Hay writes after January 10th for vax proof and mask mandatory. Yeah, the email came out earlier today. I don't know if you got the email around 3 p.m. Eastern. The Devils sent out an email stating pretty much what the city wants, the city of Newark wants, and how the Devils are going to enforce it. Blah 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 blah. You could probably find it on the Devils Twitter page for more details. Let's see. Corbin writes. Yeah, Eric Burns agrees with you about the Central Time for sports. Is great.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got the
I
happy
don't think
medium there.
it's not like a lock, but yeah, like you said, it's like a middle point. Like the Eastern night games start at 6, the Central games. So like the Devils' first period always is like perfect with like if I want to watch the Hawks at the same time, the intermissions intersect, and then by the time the Devils are done, and the Sunday night game for football starts at
Yeah,
7 o'clock on a Sunday instead of 8. So I don't know. I just like the Central Time Zone the most for sports.
yeah. Little off topic here. You have any? Well, I mean, the great John Madden passed away yesterday. I saw some of your tweets. Also, I believe I forgot his name. I'm sorry. From Chicago.
The
Also,
yeah.
seems like seems like yesterday was just like one after the other going over the wire. With recent passings.
Yeah, it was a tough day for the National Football League specifically, but I think sports in general. You're thinking of
Yeah,
Jeff Dickerson. He's a Chicago Bears beat reporter for ESPN. And Dickerson if you lived in Chicago, you knew who Jeff Dickerson was if you like sports because he was just all over the place. The Bears are the most popular team in town, no matter how much we want to complain about baseball and hockey and basketball in the city. The Bears are king, even though they're probably the worst of the 5 men's teams. But Dickerson was on the radio every single day. For my work, I definitely had him for my research. He helped me a lot. And then, of course, John Madden, one of the great
yeah,
pioneers in the NFL. If you were to make an NFL Mount Rushmore of important people for the league's history, John Madden's probably on it. And of course, there's the video game and being a legendary coach with one of the highest winning percentages of all time. And, you know, I mentioned the video game, the broadcasting, one of the great color commentators that made people want to watch football. And I believe hockey probably benefited from John Madden as well, because with the success of Madden, they decided to try it with NHL. That helps grow the game. That's what helped me become a big hockey fan, is playing the video games and using the
yep,
Devils as my team in the game. And that all came from EA. And of course, just making sports fun to watch. Color commentating has been taken to a whole new level in every sport in the last 2 decades or so. And John Madden was a big part of that. So, two football icons. I wish their families well. Dickerson left behind an 11-year-old son, and his wife passed away of cancer as well about 3 years ago. So
Oof.
little Parker Dickerson is 11 years old, and there's a GoFundMe page to support the family of the kid. I hope he's able to find peace as he lives the rest of his life without his parents.
Oof. That's tough. Want to transition over to, okay, we were talking about John Madden, not that John Madden of the New Jersey Devils, but John Madden. They say that nobody loved football more than John Madden. I'll give you 5 seconds. Who loves hockey in that sense? The game as a broadcaster. I have somebody in mind, but
I have a couple people that popped into my head right away when you said that. I would say that John Madden is right there with like Michael Jordan for basketball, but Wayne Gretzky came to mind. It seems like he really loves hockey and he thought the game differently than everybody else. And he even got into it after his career was over. Most of the time when like legends like that retire, they like go off into the sunset. Wayne Gretzky, for the most part, stayed around. But if we're not even talking people who played it, just people who were fans of the game, Mike Emmerich sticks out. Doc.
that's
I
what I
think
was
Doc
thinking.
truly loves hockey. I think friend of the program Chico Resch is obsessed
Yeah.
with hockey. You know,
Yeah.
he gives me that vibe where like you used to play, you are in a broadcast booth, and I feel like you like it just as much as I do, and you care about it just as much as I do as a fan. So
Yeah.
those are two mentions for me. I think us. I'm not going to compare us to John Madden, but we love our hockey, and that's what I
You
love
can
about
also make
sports.
the argument the Maven, Stan Fischler. I mean, he's
Yeah,
still going at age
absolutely.
89 when he doesn't need to be. And people don't know, and Ron Bailey says, Chico, he loves people. Um, People don't know that behind the scenes, Chico is a big supporter of ours. We've had conversations with Chico before he would come on to Game Day Live or any of other podcasts. The guy is always giving us advice, always encouraging us, doing something new, all that kind of stuff. And honestly, how old's Chico? About 73, 74 years old? He
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
have
in
to
that
do that.
range.
He doesn't have to
No,
do
not at
that,
all. He
but
owes
we
me and you
appreciate
nothing.
it. You know, we soak up a lot of knowledge out of Chico every time he's on, and it's his enthusiasm that this is. I'll tell you, this kind of business, Vinny. It kind of goes like this. It's a tough business, but in a weird way, it doesn't feel like work. But then again, you're constantly working at it. It's probably because you love it. You love talking about hockey. You love talking about what went on, the issues. Now people are saying Don Cherry as well. Don Cherry, longtime coach, broadcaster. So those are good names. Good names. Stan Fisher is a good one. Says Michael Hay. Well, Whistler said the Maven on YouTube Live. All that. All right, getting to it. It's going to be hard to predict, but let's get your predictions, Vinny, for tonight's game.
Yeah, the New Jersey Devils and Buffalo Sabres are both 10, 15, and 5. They're both in the basement of the NHL. Neither of them believes they don't have a bright future because each team has a lot of young talent in the system. The Sabres just traded Eichel, so that's a tough blow. But the Devils are actually favored on the road in this game, which is surprising to me. But I think that's because the odds makers probably believe the Devils have a more talented roster and are an underachieving team, which is absolutely true. They also have a better goaltender. So I'm going to pick the Devils to win this game, and I actually think they're going to come out and play well tonight. I'm going to predict the Devils beat the Buffalo Sabres by a final score of 4-2.
Okay, I found a sound pad on my mixer. I had never pressed a button before to last Sunday edition. It's been sitting here for 2 years. I didn't realize I had all this fun stuff. Which is now I
I
found
love
our
that.
new entry song. I have our new intro song now because we've been always using the one generic one for like every single podcast that we have. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say the Devils are going to come out strong, but same with Buffalo. I hate to be a copycat. 4-2, New Jersey.
We've never
Because
picked the same before, so if it happens,
yeah, the reset button has been pushed by Tom Fitzgerald. And yeah, that's what I say. Also, for those that are big fans of the Let's Go Devils podcast, Nick Villano wants to grind it out and no preemption, 8:30 p.m. Eastern during the game. State of the fan address. We're just going to go strictly podcasting because I know he's got a lot of things getting off of his chest. Nick Villano and I will talk puck, talk Devils, talk World Juniors, and also Devils After Dark. Scotty and I. So we're shaking off the rust right now. I mean, I don't have much rust with doing the Woo reports and doing that one Woo report with you when we aired our grievances over beer prices and why we don't like each other. But yeah.
absolutely. It's been fun. It was a good show. I'm happy to be back. Hopefully we stay back.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, Vinny, thank you very much. We'll be
Of
dropping the
course.
podcast afterwards in about 20 minutes as we surpassed our goal and we've have done over 120,000 downloads in the year 2021 as the podcast is now growing even with all the stoppages, with even all the shenanigans going on. So we want to thank all those tuning in right now on the live stream and on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you can find your podcasts, Spotify, iHeart app, you name it, Amazon Music Prime, Audible. Fun to watch, says Ron Bailey.
I love it.
Campbell actually says, come on, boys. Let's get this show back on the rails. LGD Campbell from New Zealand. And we were just talking about you, about the whole time zone issue.
There you go.
Yeah. More fun than the games, says Ron Bailey. Well, thank you very much. Well, I'll be
True
back
that.
at 8:30 p.m. Eastern during the game. And Devils After Dark after the game. Scotty from SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and I will recap the game that was. Vinny, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. This is Game Day Live. Have a happy Devils Wednesday. Till next time, let's go Devils.